Before I start today's video, I would like to say please check out the video I have in the description below asking you your actual thoughts about what's going on. Do we have limited time for change? Are things going to change rapidly in just the next couple years? Was the virus just a test trial for what's actually coming? Let's get those thoughts rolling. I wanted to make sure I had this out there because do we have limited time to change? Well, let's go to the video. The more internal, the more creative. The more external, the less creative. This goes for all things and also even applies to the fall of the internet and music and games. Even if you were to quote-unquote run for office, your initial ideas are perhaps good because they were developed in more internal conditions. But as you get out there, you become like the rest. Your speech changes. You have less original ideas, perhaps. It's the same reason why you wouldn't want to be influenced by other people's music so that you may best originally create your own. I haven't done nearly as much research as I should in recent months, little to nothing. Because when you understand the premises, you can apply it to all, simply utilizing critical thinking and common sense, for then there's always a debate and always something to talk about. I too have also turned down reading new books and other material because it distracts me from my original innovation, or it may feed pre-existing echo chambers. It's a good feeling to do or know something that you've completely come up with or come to yourself. This is why I resonated so much with Mark Passio's Natural Law and his other works as well. I did the searching of the world beforehand and realized its similar application and terminology. I only watch that of which is uniquely different now in case I must observe a new or unknown phenomenon that I haven't previously or in different ways. I love my mother very much for everything, including being open, smart, and having all these similar skill sets, but also because she encourages this environment for myself given my great reasoning to her. I have also brought my family to ideas they have never considered, therefore helping them reach a newer or higher level of consciousness among my own similar previous journey. It is these shared experiences we help each other create. As an individual upon this world, a child at heart and kept in balance, you would automatically not care for politics or find it unfun or a waste of time or of little concern. Why have we abandoned our inner child? It was right all along. The child knows best sometimes, and certainly if they come of great growth by utilizing never utilized before tools, many detached adults will not understand them, especially since the child may not be able to speak upon their knowledge. It's one thing to know, another to speak, and another to act. Never underestimate the child, just as you should never underestimate nature. By doing so, you make the biggest mistake. As it is, by taking part in politics, you are part of the biggest mistake. It's called trying to be God and not listening with an open heart. Children are creative. Nature brings out creativity. This is no coincidence, being that children are closer to the source. Just as one who is very elder seek children within their life, if not a way to return to their natural attachment, even if that means letting the course of death take them. I never excuse death, but all is natural in some form, and you certainly know death is not natural when it comes to preventable disease. That being said, you are still of nature, and nobody should try to convince you otherwise. When one claims to be higher than you in any way, they are forgetting nature. Nature tells us we are all equal, and ironically, also not, depending on our conditions and strengths. But the irony is in place for the bigger picture, not for a divide. It's there for learning and for balance. To disregard one aspect of the greater whole of nature is in effect disrespecting nature, for you must listen. See, when one individual doesn't let another speak, or when one individual judges another endlessly or actively seeks to analyze, even if it's in the name of helping, consider what helping is to the other individual. Consider what is helping to their nature of being. Some individuals may not speak at all with a similar language, tone, manner, or respect. And again, if you are to seek to understand, you are seeking unity. Sure, we shall challenge ourselves for innovation and encourage others to do the same, but exactly, we don't need to push that upon others. The same type of logic applies to the idea of being supportive rather than authoritative, or guiding on the side rather than dictating as to what should be done. Generally, at heart, individuals know what should be done. Now, perhaps, a child may not know their options or discernment, but they can still be guided. When individuals seek out for themselves, investment and discovery is only more of a journey that helps them also be in touch with themselves. My abandonment of poetry or creativity, like many individuals, may actually be the more I leave the internal world. Therefore, I could still be invested in what I've created 20 years ago, where I was confused as to how to originally create like that once more presently. People must understand this ironic nature of the benefits to isolation on creativity. Isolation has many problems too, especially in the modern world, but remember the ironic natural direction of a path that could be then taken. You have more time for self-reflection, thinking, more clarity, less influence, more originality. Now, it's sure that also certain individuals strive better upon isolation than others, but the lesson to learn here is to never doubt any position of where you stand in life. There is always a special path amongst where you stand. You must recognize it, do your best, and follow it. When you do follow it, after a while, you start to know that you are indeed in some path. See? Inventors of the past all had weird sleeping times, and schedules, and nonconformist situations leading to their innovations. I would have to agree upon my own creations may you also see for yourself. To realize that it's okay no matter who you are, to know that you aren't worthless, and that it hasn't all been done before, do you think you will then have a sense of worth? Because that's what creativity does. I say it again, we are born creators. Now that you perhaps hear this perspective, perhaps now you know it was not just drugs that produced good music back then, and it's no wonder why you hear similar music over and over again repetitively. It's the same respect to what I'm talking about here with creativity. Don't lose the inner child. Find time for yourself, seek self-challenge, seek out the new. Don't be consumed, reflect and feel special, because you literally are. Talk about giving children a future, actually inspire them for once with these universal, eye-opening, heart-opening, mind-opening truths. The world has so much potential, and if I were to see all this crumble down, I don't know how to handle the increasing elitist control thereafter, because that's all this is. You lose your soul to them, but they've lost their own a long time ago. It's like a vampire to which they create, where they turn you into a fellow one that naturally seeks to continue the effect, regardless of how bad it really is. Because indeed, as we have observed countlessly, the bad and good is not observed. Morality and natural law has gone forgotten and forbidden, however common and applicable and relatable. It's a pity upon the human species to let forces control them when they can control themselves. However, it's also a pity when innocence succumbs, and I simply cannot tolerate such. I will speak as necessary because it is necessary. People don't realize their demise, and it's sad, because it can quite literally be the death of the human population. As we know, creativity is what holds a truly in touch and close to nature society. With the lack of morals and everything that took down the Roman Empire, it's just history on repeat, but this time with the agendas moving further and further. I want to remain positive, but how can we sometimes? We must address the elephants in the room if they hold so much control over love and truth and positivity itself. Why is it in me to want to do more, to non-stop thinking at night about truth and how it's authority itself? Such a simple, truthful concept in nature, yet so detached we are. Innocent lives, we all are, being turned into something it's not. And if at any time something is not meant to be, there comes repercussions with or without an elitist agenda. Humanity is doomed without their learning and creativity. There are so many individuals who don't perhaps go out often. I admit fully, like me, or individuals like Asmongold on Twitch. And we can help many, but also become consumed in many different ways. This is all to learn ultimately to never give up in any position you are in. There's always a way, and a set mentality sets you up. However, it's to also learn never to underestimate, ever. Know the irony, know the limits, but follow the direction. Know the real law, know yourself, and know the world, and that you also know nothing. Live your days like it is your last, even though it's not. Just do your best to make more to all things, and you will see more in all things. You can also simplify it down and relax, and we should, but let us not overwork nor underwork. All that matters is that the necessary work gets done, and that we do put in the work that is necessary. Shall souls strive on? Find time for yourself, devote time for yourself, then devote and find time for the greater good of mankind. Live with the beautiful nature, embrace the feminine and masculine, never put your head down. To speak of bad isn't bad, it is an occurrence that may always be healed. All can be in good health. All can heal. Devote your energy and focus. The elements around you, and even in your efforts, it is demonstrated to others you are of effort, you are of care. You make your destiny, it is not ever purely fate. You know and hear and see these things that others do not. All has been attracted, and all may be further attracted. So will you do something about it? Will you attract it, and how will you do it on a mass scale as you know and see it shall? You shall be, do as you be.